We are in a bear market, thus we need to talk about bear market issues. This chart raises some concerns. And I must introduce this movie for all of you who are interested in investing in thumbnails. The folks who are reacting on the video based on my thumbnail, my title, or my shout out to Digital Asset News for coming up with that expression are known as thumbnail investors. And I can see how you may feel that way considering how compelling and intriguing my headlines and thumbnails occasionally can be. But listen, ignore whatever clickbait vibes you may be getting. This is all within the context of what is happening. Not only cryptocurrency, but the global macroeconomic environment as a whole is in a bear market at the moment. We should prepare for downside and bear market events. We are also in completely uncharted territory. Therefore, I believe there is sense in merely foreseeing and discussing potential future negative outcomes. Scenarios that are bearish given that the market is now down and that this is the Cardano chart. ADA has zoomed out to show the weekly. Here, I have some worries. Strangely enough, as I was studying a Bitcoin chart, I suddenly saw some similarities with something which I really want to go over and mention. I believe talking about these issues is beneficial. And we don't even need to move. Whether you like the titles of my films or not, the content itself is what matters, and I hope you find it useful. However, Cardano has enlarged this. For ADA holders, we are following up with the fundamentals and are familiar with the Cardano story. And as a result, ADA is putting itself in a very strong position to take advantage of future cycles and the further growth of the blockchain. September 27th is now here. So today is a significant day. As a result, on September 27th, a full version of the Vasile capability, including support for reference inputs, inline datums, reference scripts, collateral outputs, and a new Plutus cost model, will be made accessible to developers on the mainnet. And this was Lucid's tweet from the day before. The remaining Vasile upgrades will be upgraded on the Cardano mainnet tomorrow, bringing Plutus's remaining upgrades. In addition to CIP 31 through 33. Now that all of their projects may be built and deployed, developers will be able to usher in a new age for Cardano. Being able to construct all of these projects on Cardano in such an innovative way. Even when it pertains to the price of ADA, we are discussing bear market issues since we are in a bear market. This is a huge problem, particularly if you're a value investor who considers long-term trends rather than just short-term adverse market movements. But you have a thought process. You could be wondering how effective this blockchain is from a value standpoint. Fundamentally speaking, Cardano is currently laying the groundwork for rapid expansion. And if you want additional information about the volatile hard fork, and if you want to sort of spell out these things, see tip 31 to 33, you can simply kind of get some glimpses of that. 5 days ago, I worked very hard on a film I made for Vasile Hard Fork's launch. So, go investigate it. It's lovely. It's in terms of attempting to simplify what has happened. I would think it is rather informative, and hopefully it will be useful to you. We have headlines like this throughout all of this, and this can lead into our charts. This is FX Street, then. As the Vasile hard fork fails to generate buying demand, Cardano $1 is a fever dream for ADA. Ethereum, the fusion accomplished the same goal. Whatever cryptocurrency we are looking at, we are in a bear market. The market cap of all cryptocurrencies combined is less than $1 trillion, making this a very young industry. Therefore, it shouldn't surprise us if an event that is fundamentally significant over the long term has little to no immediate effect on pricing. Although it's possible to speculate that ADA has fared better than it would have, a rise to $1 or even new all-time highs are not typical. Therefore, avoid believing the headlines that we see here, since we frequently encounter them. I believe that expecting and anticipating these significant swings is not very prudent. The data can be tracked. But I believe that what is happening over the long run will have an impact on the price as well as the long-term development and value of the Cardano blockchain. So before we move on, let's switch to the charts. A quick shout out from Peyton on the upcoming unusual bloom occurrences. He would want to give a brief shout out, but this is not sponsored. The biggest Cardano event ever is happening on October 14th and 15th. It takes place in person. More than 45 projects total are being worked on in Cardano. Men attending the event Sunday swap Singularity Net Singularity, so many individuals are drawn to DAO DC. We're going to hear talks from Charles Hoskinson, Ben Gertzel, Sebastian, myself, and many more. Your support would be greatly appreciated. We are working to develop and strengthen this community. You receive an NFT and one random NFT from one of our partner projects when you buy your ticket. You can go to rareblummed.io and buy your tickets and ADA or USD. One of those NFTs is actually a claim made in FT that permits you to modify your costume. Additionally, there are genuinely reduced hotel rates available through September 24th. Regards, folks. I'm grateful, Peyton. We won't be able to attend the Rare Blue event, but everyone is kindly asked to visit their website, follow them on Twitter, and, if possible, purchase tickets. Again, this is not sponsored. I just wanted to support the team as they wind things down in preparation for launch. Indeed fantastic for the Cardano community. Support them since it will be an incredibly cool event. The number 8 is shown below. Weekly charts like this one are alarming, so I feel like I've just walked outside of this catastrophe. And this is what we frequently focus on because there is so much going on, there are so many moving components, and there are so many different things happening. This video's goal is to examine a single topic, so I believe that beginning with a blank slate is beneficial. However, it should be noted that the 20-week moving average resistance plays a significant role in both the current story and bear markets. The first thing to note is that resistance is still being encountered at the 20-week moving average. But when we go look, we see this consolidation on a daily chart that was a weekly chart. Depending on how you wish to draw a triangle, there are various ways to chart this. However, this triangle is actually in a state of consolidation, and since ADA is sort of near the height of this phase, there is concern that it will break to the downside. So I saw a possible image of what this would look like, which could be troubling. And the opportunities are many in that setting. In bear markets, I watch out for these items. I believe that during bear markets, we should all watch out for these signs. It is not investment advice. However, I believe that historically, capitulation occurs, particularly when something is rapidly losing value. Even chain analytics indicate that Bitcoin is moving into the undervalued territory where we are now. When that occurs, there is opportunity, where there is fear, where there is undervaluation, and where there is an oversold situation. So, even though it's never fun to talk about a change like this, it might be a nice opportunity and something to look forward to. So, this is the current Cardano daily chart. If we move here, I'll be back in Bitcoin. In 2018, this is Bitcoin. I don't know if you were here or not, but image this as Bitcoin in 2018. That's how I'm feeling about this Cardano chart and this ADA move. It simply brings to mind Bitcoin at $6,000. This 8 of maneuver makes me think of how much this would be worth in 2018 if it were $6,000. Of course, we're expecting for the best and looking for a reversal or an 8 at an upside breakout. The conditions are appropriate, and from a basic standpoint, Cardano is acting correctly as a blockchain since we are receiving these improvements. Why are we unable to shift positive while the market is bearish? And during the remainder of this year, as interest rates increase and we continue to follow all these news stories about the ongoing battle, we are in that setting. These are the components that are currently encircling us. When we're in these situations, we have to be aware of it. Returning to Bitcoin, you remember the $6,000 sensations, right? Therefore, $6,000 for circumstances about in this triangular area, just here, right? Before the pain truly started, it was accumulating and bouncing off that $6,000 region for a while. Many individuals believed that the bottom of the Bitcoin bear market was reached during this period of prolonged sideways movement and high volatility. And this is after Bitcoin fell from $20,000 in value. This $6,000 support area, then. It makes me feel the same way we did back then, and ADA makes me feel the same way. Therefore, it is basically from a very human level for me. Because this is what happened with Bitcoin, it actually helps me think back and anticipate. Many people had hoped that Bitcoin would break to the downside following a period of consolidation in the bear market during which it appeared to be cheap and poised to rise, instead capitulated to the downside. And now, with the macroeconomic environment that we discussed, the setup is present once more. Not only for ADA, but even if we look at Bitcoin on the weekly chart, the setup is present. In technical analysis of Bitcoin, we discuss how the 786 line on the macro is an area where Bitcoin bottomed to be low in previous cycles. This chart, or ADA, is probably, maybe, I should say, getting ready to see resistance and is moving to the downside if Bitcoins are making a move like that and equity markets are doing the same. And it actually is. If all markets are falling and collapsing, it's likely that 8 will follow suit. On a daily chart, it appears like this, therefore all we need to do is pay attention to it. And we will take it into consideration. So much is at stake in this 30-cent range to the downside that prices are even kind of capitulating below that level. And if we look at a weekly chart, we can see ADA sliding to this region for a subsequent stop of consolidation if we just draw a very simple reference point at 30 cents. It might be strikingly reminiscent of what Bitcoin did there in 2018. And that list area of consolidation is finally reaching its bottom. Could an ADA consider that? Bull market low? Could that possibly be the move? It's speculative, there are no assurances, but I just felt it was important to bring it up to keep it in the forefront of our minds. And finally, are we experiencing some pain and volatility sideways before we're making our way and beginning to sort of climb out of the mess? I could submit this video at the end of the day, and ADA could succeed. And since we're talking about it, let's see if the upward trend continues and we get a retest of the support level. Right. The result is always 50/50ths. There is always uncharted area here. Although this is bullish and the fundamentals for Cardano are positive, I just felt it would be useful to briefly discuss the downside in this video. When we begin to discuss even a $500 billion market value for ADA, which is something Cardano or Ethereum has already seen, Cardano is zoomed out on the charts incredibly positive. It will cost you at least $10 to get there. There is an advantage. In the long run, I believe the fundamentals will serve as a fantastic platform for that launch, but it will need a lot of patience and planning for all possible outcomes. So there you have it, everyone. Stick with the CCV pool if you are out collecting data. I value your assistance. At CCV, we're working on some incredibly exciting projects. Adhere to us on Twitter to remain current. If you haven't already, subscribe. I'll see everyone in the following video.